chapter. This is a good chapter. It's like the meat and bones of decision making. It really is. Talking about assertions, talking about claims, talking about issues. Like if you never showed up to one single class and you showed up to this one to be the class. I mean, you still fail, of course, but it looks like you would at least get by with this. The minimum number of members in a group to make it valid. Yes, that is quorum. Thank you very much, Stefania. It's like when Congress meets together and it's like, look, we're going to have quorum at 35 and there's 50 senators. Yes, to make law, they need 35-ish. I don't know exactly what the number is. Some people have present in order to meeting. Yes, exactly, Octavia. That's right. So it looks like we have quorum, 10 viewers, and we're going to start. Thank you for meeting quorum. If you do not meet quorum, class, you know what it means is that I will not have a class or a preview or any sort of that. So that's important for you to know that quorum meets the class. In other words, we have a class at that number. So just show up. Looks like you guys are even at 10 always. So I would just show up, try to get rid of this discussion grade. Let me tell you, you have to get involved in discussion. I do go over everything. It looks like I haven't been grading, but I have. I just have to place it on D2L, which is a process. Please make sure you say something educative, something according to your book. This part of the chapter of the textbook is really important. Starts at objective 17. It's part 3. Let me know what your thoughts are. I don't have a guest lecture tonight. I would encourage you guys to go ahead and volunteer to become a guest lecturer. If you want to be a guest lecturer, all you have to do is let me know through this app, through email. And all that means is you help me talk about the chapter. Okay? So I don't see much discussion. I'm hoping you guys kind of type and get through it because I use that discussion to go over the objectives. Okay? So with little understanding, since we have a quorum of 11 now, very good. I'll start in 3, 2, 1. Hello, this is Professor Puente. Good evening. And I'll let you know that we are on part 3, objective 17. So grab your textbook, class, open it up to objective 17. I love your textbook because it goes over space by space what things are. Okay. This objective 17 begins the meat of the chapter. Part 3 is the meat of the entire class. And it really goes over the terms you need to know. Like the very first one, I believe it's what is critical thinking. Critical thinking is a thoughtful, deliberate process of deciding whether you should accept, reject, or reserve judgment about a particular idea. Critical thinking is important for you because when you're making a decision, you're taking this part. Critical as a fact that it's very important. And you take it out and you use it. Creative is the other word I like to use with critical thinking. Okay. The other word is with critical thinking is pretty much, constructive thinking, meaning you're actually just thinking from someone telling you what's going on. Okay. So that is important. Please remember that. The next keyword is claim. Claim. A claim is a statement that someone says or writes about a topic. Okay. So LeBron James was called out this past week and he was told, you know what? Shut up and dribble. Okay. That lady's claim, Fox News, I really don't know her name. I don't think I should know her name, was that a basketball player, she implied, another keyword here that's on your book. She implied that if you're an athlete, you should not have a say in what's going on. So shut up and dribble, right? That's a claim. And LeBron James stated, listen, I'm more than an athlete. That's another claim. So when you state something, you state a claim, okay? How well and sound, another keyword, that claim is another story, okay? But here we go to the next step. Issue. In general terms, an issue is any controversial subject that you discuss, dispute, or review. An issue. you bring up an issue. Tonight, I brought up the issue with LeBron James being called out about his mode, his circle of understanding. Is he more than an athlete? Is he just supposed to kind of be quiet and dribble? That's the issue I brought. Okay. Octavia says, claim, aka statement, does not mean it's true or false. That's very, very true. A claim could be anything. Let me give you one. My claim is that the Astros cheated on their way to the World Series. That's a claim. It does not mean that it's true or false. It's just a claim. This is why when President Trump stated that there were about X amount of illegal immigrants that voted, that was a claim. The claim may or may not have backing, and that is where we come in. Stephania says, LeBron James responding because he's more than just an athlete. Your career does not define you as a person. And that, Stephania, is a claim. Whether you have backing for it or not, it's going to be up to the class, right? So let me know, class, if you think Stephania is right or wrong. Okay? What is an argument? This is where it gets more meaty into the entire course. An argument means that a heated discussion between people, is that it? Or a context of critical thinking. That's what your book's stating. So it's either you think argument on the sense of, you know what, two people are going back and forth, or is it actually a context of critical thinking, meaning a point, a claim? So that is an argument, okay? When you try to persuade someone to adopt your point of view, you typically make an argument. That's really what the book is trying to say. You're trying to put in a point across and say, hey, class, it's probably a good idea that you back me up on this because I have X amount of evidence. And that is definitely a good argument, or AKA a sound argument. Jake says, right, I think a claim is a simple of thought of someone, but when backed up with evidence makes it more truthful. Absolutely, Jake. So a claim is out there. An argument is out there. You know, if you say, hey, well, LeBron James shouldn't be speaking anyways because he's not really a good player, or at least he's not as good as Jordan, that's another argument, right? But that doesn't necessarily make it true or not. There's not much what makes things true or not. Tamara says this is where if we don't agree with someone's claim, you make an argument to give proof. Okay, let's keep going. What is the difference between facts and opinion? Another part of the chapter. An opinion is a claim. Hear this out, guys. An opinion is a claim that someone believes is true. It's an opinion. A fact is a claim that is considered to be true. So a fact is massively thought of to being true. And an opinion is a claim that is considered to be true by someone. Okay? So that's really important. Kelly says I agree with Tamara. But in fact, that goes to the next things. There are a lot of facts out there. Interpretation makes it an opinion. Raw facts alone do not give you a statement, do not give you a claim. Facts alone only build upon an opinion. And an opinion could be as good as a judge making it, or as good as someone on Facebook making it. Opinions are broad, facts are valid. Octavia, I gotta tell you that sometimes opinions are also valid, especially if it comes from someone that is very much certified. In this case, if a judge stated that, according to their opinion, you should go to jail, you will go to jail, and it's just as valid. Facts are raw. Remember, opinions are a summation of facts. So opinions are very much needed. They're very much needed. Don't think that opinions are just equals bad. No, opinions are a summation of facts. It's interpretation. Octavia, I think opinions can be specific, just not back up with evidence. That's right. That's right. So opinions may not have a good backup of evidence, but they can if they're well given. Okay. So that was objective 17. Now we go to 18. Jake says, yes, an opinion can be valid by certain people because of backing. It can come from the person's credentials. That's absolutely right. Don't forget, a judge verdict is an opinion. Nonetheless, it does make it incredibly valid if you have to do about 5 years plus in jail, right? I agree with that statement, Jake. Good, David. So identify arguments. Identify an argument. To identify an argument that others make, ask yourself the following questions. What is the other person trying to communicate, illustrate, or prove? Or argument in hand, like Octavia says. They're bringing some kind of point to you. What are they trying to prove? What are they trying to waste their breath on? Because there's obviously some kind of energy that they believe on. Okay, that's an argument. Please think, according to this class, that an argument is necessary. We all have an argument. If we all were passionate about a subject, we would. So the course is not saying argument equals bad. Try to put your morality at the door. Start to see what they mean about argument. Look for argument indicators, okay, as the signals to catch your attention. Words such as because, since, assuming that, far as, similar expressions suggest that the speaker is stating a premise. Now we're really going into what this whole objective is about. When analyzing issues, be sure to differentiate between arguments and assertion. There's an argument and there's an assertion. Assertion is a simple statement that does not include any supporting evidence. So what Jake was saying, someone saying something that is not backed up by evidence, is an assertion. I'll give you one. I really believe that the next commander-in-chief will be voted in 2020 and will be someone new. That's an assertion. Maybe I don't like Trump, and maybe I want him to go away. And maybe I'm hoping by 2020 it'll go away. That's an assertion. There is no evidence. I've given you no evidence that Trump won't get voted in. Okay? You see how that works? So when you're arguing and you're talking to somebody, if you really want to insult their point, you say, hey, let me tell you, that is an assertion because you don't have any evidence, sir or ma'am. See how that works? Kelly says they're trying to prove their statement is true. Stephania says, oh, wow, Tamara, that's true. Sometimes body language tells us more than what someone says. And Octavia says, yes, it does. Body language is very important. Yes, Tamara, body language could be important. But this, again, is the meat of the course. You're trying to take away their argument and put it into pieces and place it correctly so that way you have a sound argument and not an assertion. Okay? There's nothing to do with body language as much. There's more to do with the actual point. Again, decisions class. Okay? Closed arms, no contact, or no eye contact. Octavia, we're still not speaking about the point. Okay? Make sure you get back to the point, guys. Get back to the point. I could give you some amazing body language and still tell you an assertion. Okay? You want me to try it? Let me do this. Kentucky Fried Chicken is the best chicken on earth. That is an assertion. Why? Because I have no evidence. Let me do this back. All right? Black Panther may be one of the best high-grossing movies of all time. I could give you my premises by showing you how much it made on the box office this weekend. That is not an assertion. That's an argument. Do you see the difference? It's not necessarily the body language. It's what you're saying, right? Closed arms, like that. So we have to determine as well if it's a weak argument. That's right, Octavia. You have to understand if it's a weak argument or if it's an assertion. If you're just saying something and there's no evidence for it. You really have to rationally think about it, okay? Now we go into deductive reasoning. Typically sees an argument from general observation and premise to a specific conclusion. There's deductive and inductive reasoning. Real simple, like a pyramid, okay? Deductive, okay? You take the general and you get to one conclusion, okay? The other way is inductive. You take the specific and you get to a general conclusion. Usually, especially doctoral candidates, doctoral people, would like to get to an inductive reasoning. Only because rarely do people want to get to a specific point at all. It's really difficult to pinpoint something to the very dot. It's much easier to have a broad idea of what's going on. I'm going to try to give you an idea, okay? With deductive, Okay. Well, the Winter Olympics are going super well, and I believe that the winner of it all in medals is probably going to be Germany. It's very deductive, very to the dot. Germany will have the most medals, right? Let me inductive that. The Olympics are going super well. The Winter Olympics are going super well. I believe that the best athletes are going to get the best medals. Again, very general, best athletes, best medals. And it seems to be correct because of how broad it is. How much does it help you? I don't know. But it could be more correct than anything else. All right. So understand what you're doing with inductive and deductive reasoning. Okay. Now we go to objective 19. But let me talk a few things from people saying. Sandra says, you're trying to pull other views. Do you do? Okay. I don't see that. Octavia says, so we have to determine as well as if it's a weak argument. Okay, I think I said that before. I'm waiting for a few more opinions. We have 2 more left. Let's give it some good ones. So absolutely good ones. I'll come back to them. Objective 19, assessing credibility of an argument. So consider the validity of the argument. A valid argument has a conclusion that logically follows from the premise. You need to go to YouTube and find out what a premise is for the sake of your midterm. Go to YouTube and find out what a premise is. Make sure the argument is sound. Now you understand what an argument is supposed to sound like when it's right. And it's not that it's right, because I don't like the concept of right or wrong, especially on this course, decisions making course. It's more like if it's placed and put together, okay? An argument is valid if it logically follows the premise. It's real simple. Hey, the Rockets are doing well this year. B, the Rockets seem to be the closest to number 1 and number 2. C, the Rockets will probably go to the championship, the final championship. Why? Because of number 1, number 2. See how sound that argument is? This is how you feel like, okay, if it's well sound, then I can continue on. Assess the credibility of the source. If you're hearing all this information about the Rockets, is it from ESPN? Is it from, Houston Chronicle? Or is it from some person you follow? That may not have credibility over sports. Consider reasons based on authority. Absolutely. Are you listening about decisions theory from someone that's learning it from doctoral school? Or are you kind of listening from it from some other angle that kind of teaches you about fake news, right? Compare the argument to your background knowledge. You all have your background knowledge, especially in a North Houston area Lone Star College. You all work and you all get a concept somewhere from somewhere. Use it from your background knowledge. If he's talking real estate, I happen to be a landlord's assistant. If I'm a landlord's assistant, I know that he may or may not be telling the truth, right? You may not be a landlord's assistant, so you may not know what the truth is. That's really important, right? So Stephania says, I'm doing research paper for a class. I have to argue which I think is better between a bank or a credit union. And I'm able to back up my opinion because I can list facts that credit union have, lower loan rates, less, et cetera, et cetera. So I believe that makes it a sound argument. Stephania, so grab your credit union wages, your rates, okay, and put evidence that this is really good. Maybe you grabbed it from a national newspaper or a regional newspaper that shows you a ranking. If I was to say the Houston Chronicle states that credit unions are better than banks, that's the Houston Chronicle. You grabbed a fact from someone. Let the reader make their decisions, okay? If you're not to say, hey, it's not the Houston Chronicle, it's just, hey, I've gathered from the internet. It's a synthesis, meaning you put it together and you saw, hey, from my end, I saw that it's just as good. It's going to be hard to believe. Don't always think your point of view is always right. That's right, Octavia. I am hoping you gave me some good, Octavia, out of you, I'm hoping to see a good point. You made a lot of good points, but not enough to make it sound. So I'm hoping everybody gives their sound argument here on objective 20, which is the very last one. Exploring weakness in an argument. Consider how the test claims or premises, right? A scientific approach tests ideas and arguments to verify the correctness. Does someone want to actually find out what scientific argument is? What scientific method is? Please bring it on forward because it's definitely helping. Okay. Evaluate the relevance. A well-crafted argument explains the subject clearly and presents claims that relate to the conclusion. You know, what's funny is that every research paper has a conclusion that comes from premises upon the paper, and is all backed up by statistics, by scientific-wise statistics. If it's not scientific, it's going to be art-wise. It all has its own school, its own method, its own structure. Okay. Tyrone says, because you'll make a complete fool of yourself, even entertaining the 17th century, consisting of systematic observation, measurements, experiment, and formulation, testing, and modification hypotheses. Scientific method. Yes, Jake, that is absolutely scientific method. Let me tell you this, guys. Science is not what you think it is. Science is a whole bunch of humans putting arguments together. They may or may not be right. Who cares? Is that they're sound or not? Science is not nature. Nature doesn't even know what science is. But the fact that you can prove it, science, through premises, through having a sound argument, that is scientific method. That's why you go ahead and you formulate and you test and you experiment, like Jake states. Okay? Please don't think science is a fact. Please understand what I'm saying. Science is not a fact. If I see that anywhere, I promise you'll get a letter from you with my own argument. Science is an opinion. It's an opinion from us humans. Okay? So today, you can learn anything from Professor Puente. You'll learn that science is not a fact. It's just an opinion. But an opinion is not bad. It could be a sound argument. It could be really well done. Gravity can exist. And things do drop from the sky, right? They do drop from the sky. And it could be proven. However, it's not a fact. So, sorry my internet is low. Sorry you guys' the internet is low. That must be an opinion. Logic is a must. Octavia has another opinion. It's a step-by-step formulating conclusion of something. Okay. Jake says, science is a series of interpretations molded together from a conclusion with backing. And I agree with you, Jake, which also means an opinion. So they keep going with look for dubious assumptions. An assumption is the proposition or claim that you take for granted as though if it were known valid. That's science. Science is a fact. It's an assumption. You're assuming the science is all but fake. But when the truth is that your interpretation of science is the most important. Science, how the world was created, and we could argue about it all day. That's right, I'll tell you. Compare the argument to other data observations. So take science and compare it to other data out there. And you'll see that there's different assumptions, different opinions. Maybe you're a psychologist, maybe you're a biologist, maybe you're something else. Even science in itself has its own concept and assumptions. So be careful. Okay? And identify alternative explanations. Keep your eyes open for explanations and rationale. When someone suggests X causes Y, don't immediately assume that the statement is true. That statement there, guys, that statement there tells you that science should not be assumed as true. Okay? It's just an opinion. But it's a backed up opinion. It could be an amazingly backed up opinion. And this is why believe is so important. This is why your pastor tells you believe. Because believe in science is a big deal too as well. Okay? Well, that was your decisions class. I hope everything went well. You will have a quiz this week. So I'm hoping you guys get that done. If you have any questions, I don't believe you had a quiz last week, so I don't have anything to share with you. I hope this is a good video. I will definitely answer any questions you have. But that's it. I'll say a few things from the class. I don't think there is a way to win, but there is a mutual agreement and one's opinion to mix above. Okay. Now Terry says, I'm guessing with concrete facts somewhere. Maybe. Tamara says my internet is lagging really bad tonight for some reason. So Tamara, that's an opinion. Thank you so much. Good night, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. Hopefully it's all went well. Let me know. Good night.